Rowdy just found a gopher. She's all excited about finding a gopher. Paul in the vineyard. Actually, this time it's Paul in the orchard. Our 150-year-old olive orchard. Trees from Spain, multiple different varietals. The fruit is ripening. So as it ripens, just like an apple's turning red or grapes are turning, these are very similar to grapes. So these are now starting to ripen, starting to soften up. If I reach up in here and grab one of the ones that's not quite as ripe, you'll see it's still green on the backside, just like if it was a tomato. So we're about 2 weeks away. We've scheduled our harvest processing at Kyler Ridge. So we make them all together. It's called a field blend. But I want to come over and show you another tree and kind of talk to you about what a field blend is and how we do it. So here I am, just about 7 trees over from that Sevillano tree that we were looking at there. We have Missions and Lascano and Sevillanos. This happens to be a manzanilla. And so you'll notice, look at that, 2 different olives, 2 different flavors. To make a good oil, you really don't want everything black, because if it makes more oil if it's ripe and black, kind of like sugar in grapes. But then a lot of the flavor, our spicy flavors, come from these green olives. Plus, when you are processing olives, you crush them up and make them into a paste. The machine is called a hammer mill. And then that paste that looks like kind of a wet peanut butter is put into a machine called a malaxer. And then they're kneaded almost like bread. So you're stirring up this paste. As you stir it, the oil comes to the surface, and I'll kind of show here with Jeanette. This is a very simplified process. But if I were to start doing that, like that, and rubbing it and rubbing it and rubbing it, pretty soon now that oil is around the outside. And so what that malaxer does is get all that oil around the outside. See, that's all oil there right now. And then that oil is extracted by putting it through a centrifuge to remove what is the liquid, as you see that dripping down there. And so there's the oil. You notice it's not going anywhere, but that's a pretty fancy machine that does that. And then what we end up with is, see that beautiful oil. And part of the way we kind of know whether it's, quote, ripe, it's not flavorful, meaning it's bitter, it's flavorful, but that's oil on my hand, as you can see right there. And this manzanilla right now, see, it's harder to squeeze. And if I did the same process, it would not get quite as much oil as that other one did. But then we make what's referred to as a field blend by blending all that together and making oil. But actually, you know, if you did this to your hands every day and your face, it actually smells very delightful. Here, I'll show Jeanette. It smells like olive oil. We will put tarps under these trees. We then come in with what's called a comb. And what the comb does is it comes in and it vibrates like this as we comb the tree, and then it knocks the olives off like that.